What's up, guys? This is Crypto with James talking to you today about Siacoin. Now, Siacoin, I always liked, right? And it was a good, good crypto in the first bull cycle. I want to talk about what this can do in the future. Just generally give my take on it, and let's see if you guys agree or disagree. Before I get into that, though, guys, if you are new to this channel, these are the first 26 coins I spoke about on this channel. Now, in the videos I showed I was buying these cryptos up because I thought they were quality. Um, if you'd have done the same, let's say you put in $100, you can see what the prices were when I recorded and released the vids. You can see what highs they hit less than 18 months onward. $100 into each, that's $2,600 investment. If you just sold that in less than 18 months on, which is what I did, a $2,600 investment would have netted you a profit of over 123 grand, which is pretty good. Now, as I said, I sold these. But if you do want to see the cryptos that I own, and if you do want to copy the cryptos that I own, you can do. Copymycrypto.com. It's where I share the coins that I'm in. Anytime I buy a crypto, I let the members know, look, I'm buying this crypto for these reasons. I think these are the gains it can do. And this is the percentage that I'm putting into it so that they can see how my portfolio completely breaks down. When I sell a coin, I also let the members know because, guys, the biggest mistake retail investors make in crypto is not banking profit. So I always share when I'm doing that so members can do the same. Now, guys, this market at some point is going to get regulated. The powers that be are going to screw the markets up, and we are not going to see the insane gains that we've seen for much longer. Maybe, and yeah, maybe one full more bull cycle, maybe two more bull cycles. This is literally the golden window of crypto. So if you didn't make the gains in the last bull cycle, whether it's 20x's or 30x's or 40x's, guys, we made 40x, 50x, 100x. Phantom on Copy My Crypto made 700x nearly. So again, I do all the work in Copy My Crypto. I share and I do all the research. I explain why I'm getting into the coins I get into, and the members can copy. We've got thousands of members. Most do not know anything about crypto or investing, but copy along because they want to make the same profits I do. If that sounds good to you, go read the site and see if it is for you. You can see proof of everything I've said. It's all public record, and you can make an informed decision if this is something you'd like. Right, guys, Siacoin. So 0.3% at the moment. Now, Siacoin. First bull cycle that it experienced did some serious gains. Like, it was a beast. It was an absolute beast. You know, from 2017 to that 2018 peak, it was phenomenal. It did stupid. In the last bull cycle, however, we did see a drop off. This is now a long-term downtrend, guys. It's something to bear in mind. Hit heights in the last bull cycle of around about 5.8 cents or thereabouts. Although obviously the peak is always a bit off on your coin geckos, so we can zoom in a little bit and get a bit more of an accurate peak. Yeah, so yeah, pretty much 5.6, 5.7. Now, the long-term downtrend, there we go, 5.6 cents basically. So that is a long-term downtrend from like the 9.2 cents it hit in its first bull cycle. So something to bear in mind, guys. A long-term downtrend, it's hard to overcome that. It's very hard to overcome that. Now, Siacoin also, by the way, the circulating supply, as you can see, 51 billion tokens. So worth bearing in mind, the probability of it hitting $1 is close to zero. Not zero, because nothing's ever zero, but pretty damn close. Now, what's worth noting is, look, decentralized storage is going to become a thing more and more and more. It's just that people are not aware of it yet. And it's insanely cheap in comparison to centralized storage. So, you know, you're looking at $2.11 for 1 terabyte per month on average, compared to sort of $9.88 across the top centralized places like your Amazons or your Google Drive, right? The most expensive major decentralized storage option does cost 16p or cents less than the cheapest centralized storage. So even then, it's still cheaper. Even the most expensive is still cheaper. Now, Siacoin's one of the oldest cryptos around, but worth noting, look, the difference between Filecoin and Siacoin is huge. Siacoin is the second best, and the cost difference is staggering. Filecoin is literally a huge innovator. Siacoin is, but the tech has fallen behind compared to what Filecoin has now. Now, one thing that is really positive for Siacoin is, look, there is a lot of activity on this network. You know, the hash rate at the moment is 19.84. You've got, you know, again, a lot of hosts, like over 84,000 total hosts. Right now, there's only about 400 that are active, but the storage utilization, again, a huge amount. Total storage, 4.38, right? So Siacoin is used. Quarter of that is used effectively. So, and the thing that's going for these decentralized storage places like Filecoin, like Siacoin, like Storage, is there will be another hack of a centralized storage facility. You know, whether that's the cloud or whatever, that will happen. And when that does happen, pay attention to the news at the time. Because if you see that happen, investment should be flying, not financial advice, but should be flying into decentralized storage cryptos because they're going to pump off the back of any news about an exploit in, you know, cloud or whatever. So really worth noting. Now, Siacoin have a fair few people that use it. Firebase is one, Pixel Drain, Sias, and then obviously Sia's got their own stuff. But Arzen is one as well, and Skynet and VUP. So there's plenty of places that have started using Sia. Sia also, you know, have a decent ecosystem in terms of node hosts. But then, you know, they fall back to the old habits, which is, you know, where these are the exchanges in our ecosystem. And I get it, but I don't like it. I don't like when I see cryptos doing that. You're trying to make yourself look a little larger than you are. Don't need to do it. The quality's there, the quality's there. But they do have the Sia Foundation. The grant system that they've got in place is pretty good. Hopefully, we're going to see some growth coming out of that. And we might start seeing the Siacoin ecosystem grow. The downside fundamentally for me is, look, they have been displaced by Filecoin pretty significantly. So, I mean, just contextually, Filecoin is a tenth of the cost of Siacoin. And another thing is obviously there is a long-term downtrend, and you've got to acknowledge it. That's there. But it is really worth getting to know the decentralized storage networks. Obviously, Airweave's one, BitTorrent's file systems another, and you know, understand what the biggest centralized places are. Because if you do, and then you notice that, say, Amazon S3 gets hacked, or there's an exploit, the very first thing that will happen off of that is Filecoin and all of these others are going to pump in price. So know that. That's a real news story that you can anticipate the reaction to. And while I like Siacoin, and I still think there's gains here, look, you know, it's probably limited to only about 4 cents because of that long-term downtrend. Now, again, look, if it's in the peak of a bull cycle and it's knocking around 2 or 3 cents, and then there's a huge Amazon S3 hack or cloud hack, Siacoin will pump to insanely. So will all the others. So it's one of those where it's not exactly a predictable news event, but it's a predictable response to a potential news event. And that's probably the best way I can put it. Now, so it's one of those, like, be aware of the news, be aware of what's happening, because there are certain cryptos that are going to respond to particular news events, and a centralized storage place getting smashed by hackers would be or you know, a huge data loss, or a huge, I don't know, fish, you know, every user of the cloud, you know, loses their details. You know, something where there's a huge mistake, there's a huge problem. The decentralized places are going to pump like mad as a result. So it's worth noting because that could happen. It's very possible. Hackers will, as tech gets better, hackers get better. I don't think Siacoin can do the crazy gains like it did in 2017, 18, but this is still probably a solid coin that's going to, you know, 13x or thereabouts, which is not bad. Which is not bad. Um, but like I said, if a centralized place got hacked, all bets are off. That could do, you know, this could run to a new high because a news event like that would be enough to really trigger a price action move. But again, it would, for it to hit that kind of high, it would have to be in mid-flow of bull cycle as well. But something to consider, guys. And this is why you watch these videos, so you can get different perspectives, ones you might not have considered before. So if you appreciate that, hit the subscribe button. It helps the channel. And look, like I said, you're going to make money off of these videos, so don't miss them. And guys, if you want to see the coins I own right now, the cryptos that are in my portfolio, the ones I've been buying up while the markets have been down, go to copymycrypto.com. Go read the site. Literally everything on that site is public record. You can see everything I've said historically. You can see the proof of everything I've said. You can see what the members have achieved since being on the site. Copy My Crypto is where I do all the work, guys. I get into the coins I get into and I share that. Anytime I add to a coin holding that I've got, I let the members know. Anytime I buy a new crypto, I let the members know. Anytime I sell and bank profit, I let the members know. So if they're copying along, they do the same. There's literally no work involved. We started with a couple of hundred members. We've got several thousand members. A lot have never invested in crypto. But it's as easy as it gets. The step-by-step instructions and step-by-step video tutorials on the site. And again, no work required. Match the profits I do. So if you've never gone onto the site, go do that now so you can see if it's something you're interested in. And that's it from me, guys. I hope you're all keeping well. Take it easy. Bye-bye.